Hello guys, and welcome to another video in Photoshop CS6. Today I'm going to talk about adjustment layouts. I'm going to continue with this image that I have loaded like 2 videos ago. And here I have a structure with files and folders, and I have some layers. And I think that I'm going to delete the layers and the folders, so I'm just going to click on Control and I'm going to select everything and then just click on Delete. So now I have only the original image which is inside a card, and this card is a folder. Alright. I'm going to show you, as I said earlier, the adjustment layout. If you go in this button here, it will say that create new fill or adjustment layer. Click on it. There are a lot of layers here, like the solid color, gradient, pattern, then brightness and contrast, levels, curves, exposure, vibrance, hue saturation, color balance, black and white, photo filter, channel mixer, color lookup, invert, posterize, threshold, gradient map, and selective color. I don't use all of these. I usually use the gradient, brightness, contrast, levels, curves, sometimes exposure, but not a lot, hue saturation, and maybe black and white. I think these are the ones, and gradient map. I think these are the layers that I'm usually using. So let's say that I will pick the gradient color. Alright, here you see the gradient. This color is this foreground color. The style is linear, but you have a radial like this. You have an angle like this. You have reflected, and you have diamond. Right, I'm going to leave it in linear. Then you have scale. Now it's 100%, and now it's like 1000%. Right, this is 1, this is 1000. Alright, then you have reverse and dither. I will not play with this, alright? Let's go back to the gradient color. Here you have several options, and here is this small button, like new gradient, text only, small thumbnail. So if you don't see the same color as mine, just pick small thumbnail, and then you should be able to see these photo filters here. I'm going to play with this one. Alright, just click on these, and now let's just say an angle, and you see the 2 colors. You have your angle here, and I'm going to have it like, let's say 45. You have your scale, and I'm going to have it like 80%. Align with layer, and I'm going to click on OK. The fill is in 100%, so I think I'm going a little bit lower, like let's say 51%. And so now I have this image here. My cat is here, and then I have the street here and the wall in this area. So this was just a quick example on how you can play with the filters. I'm going to close the icon, and I'm back to the original image, and I'm going again in the adjustment layers. This time I will hit the gradient map. Again, I see this color here because I had in the foreground color selected this color. If you click on it, you can see the same things, but this time I will do something else. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to click on, let me find it, like curves. Alright, and now it's time to play with the curves. I'm going to open this thing a little bit more. Okay, here I have the RGB in colors, which stands for red, green and blue, and it's very important to in Photoshop to know with what colors you are working with. So right now I'm working with RGB. There is red, green and blue, and we are going to this in a little bit. So with your curve, just play and see all the things that you can do. For me, I'm going to leave it like this, only to show you the difference. But now I'm going to pick maybe the blue one, and I have a blue line here. So this time again I'm going like, let's say this. Alright, I can also play with these, which is the input. And here I have the input and output. Alright, let's go back here and select the red one, and now you have a red line, whereas before you had a blue line. I'm going to drag it like this. Okay, so now you have your red line, and last but not least, the green line. Okay, let's leave it like this. And here you have your auto button that I'm not going to use right now. I'm just going to close this. And I'm going to show you what we did. Well, this is the curves without the gradient map. Alright, so that's the curves. And we played with the RGB colors, and pretty much we changed everything. So if I also load the gradient fill 1, I'm going to have this effect, not very beautiful. And if I'm going to load the gradient map 1, I'm going to have this effect, again, not very beautiful. So now I'm in curves, and it's quite difficult to see everything, but I mean, this is just an example. And now I top the gradient map 1, and it's in top of curves, of gradient fill and the original image. Okay, I'm going to unclick all of these, so I'm only going to have the original image, and I'm going back here in the adjustments layers. I would suggest you to play with almost everything. I mean, like brightness and contrast are quite important, and I think that you will find them very useful. This image doesn't have a lot of things to be in contrast and brightness, but again, you can see the difference. So this is with brightness and contrast, and this is without it. Brightness and contrast and without it. Again, I'm going to the adjustment layers, and this time let's go to exposure. Exposure is a filter that I think many of you will have used, and maybe you don't even understand it that you have used. And there is a lot of in Instagram and this kind of apps. So sometimes I see people that likes to play with it. Sometimes I also do this, but the effect is quite difficult to be adjusted in your preferences, and you have to know and realize how to do everything with this exposure and offset and gamma correction. This is like too much, so let's leave it in 1 maybe. And the offset, okay, I'm going to really drag it here, and the exposure, I'm going to do it like, okay, this is too much, maybe on 360. Okay, so that was just another example of me playing with exposure and filters, and this was the original image, and very, very easily we did it like this. If you want to change something, just click on it, and then you can go back and play with it again. Alright? And if you want to see everything, you just load everything. But we don't want something like this, so let's leave it here because this video is getting too long. And once again, play with the adjustment layers. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye!